Hey y'all. Okay, you have to know that I couldn't stop right there. I told myself I was going to let it end at that point, but as I was driving home from the Frisk Center, I was still thinking about the element of choice and conscious decisions that we make, and how conscious choice and chance seem like they're on total opposite ends of the spectrum, but for I think a lot of artists, they're more related than they seem. Sometimes when we view work in a gallery or we read a text, some people will ask, did they mean for that to happen? Was that a conscious decision? Excuse me, can you trust or know what was intentionally crafted and what was kind of happenstance? And my first question is, why does it matter? And I'm not saying that it doesn't. I believe it absolutely matters. But for a person asking, I think it's important. Cool, important. There's a difference there. Anyway, it helps for us to figure out why we want to know if a given element was controlled, contrived, crafted versus, a happy mistake or a happy happenstance. But the thing that I really value with the artistic process is a lot of times we actually create a right environment for beautiful chance. Again, beautiful not as in pretty, but beautiful as in honest and truthful and all these other things. Sometimes it's more difficult actually to let chance happen, to let the possibilities unfold in a way that we can't completely control. I think a lot of artists, and myself included in my writing, I am very thoughtfully gathering ideas and putting myself in a certain place, in a certain mindset, and very intentionally opening myself up to chance in a time where really control feels more comfortable and easy. So sometimes showing the process of, what seems miscellaneous, there's actually a true art to that. And I appreciate the risk and kind of the faith that it takes for artists to do that. I'm also thinking about the fact that all of the work, well, most of the work, not all, the majority of the work in the 30 Americans exhibit most of the works are by contemporary living artists. And so there's this dynamic I'm recognizing about my discussions, even during these video blogs, and knowing that it's very possible that at some point the artists who have created the work will see these conversations I'm having. They'll hear them. They might read the poems. And I'm quite aware that at times, they might not agree with my assessments, opinions, ideas, the way that I've or the direction I've taken in my writing in relation to the work. And so I'm curious about how that's affecting me and what I say or what I don't say, what I think or what I don't think. Like if I were writing in relation to, older work, Victorian works or modernist works, whatnot, and, the artists were deceased or not likely engaged in social media, how does that change my level of comfort to just say whatever I want to say? But the reality is many of the artists are my age. When I'm looking on the information cards and seeing the year that, artists were born, a lot of us are in the same generation. It's very likely they're engaging in the same social media outlets that I am. And so, I've had encounters. I've had encounters where someone has purchased my book or seen a video of me doing a reading or attended a live reading, and what they heard in my poems were very different from what I thought I wrote or what I was feeling or thinking or intending for the audience to experience in the poem. And I know how it's not even awkward, it's curious. It's just a curious thing. I know how that affects my process. So at the very, very least, I don't want to offer destructive ideas, even if they aren't complementary. They don't have to be destructive, And that's part of my thinking. Can you see my bear? Hold on. That's my Jakey bear. You can't really, well, he's gone on the other side now. But that's, come on, boy. Jakey bear. Hey, big boy. You want to say hello? It's like, don't, no kisses. This is my Jakey Bear. He's one of my inspirations in my writing space. His name is Jake Edgar Bear. He's very creative and resourceful, especially when it comes to squirrels and bones, and I love him. And he's in my writing space, and I typically don't let him in here when I'm working because he's very selfish and he can be a major distraction. But he's a sweetie. He's wanting the hug. Okay. Well, I'm totally off track now because my Jakey Bear is here. See, this is why he usually can't come into my writing space. So at this point, I'm probably not saying anything totally related to the artwork or the poetry, but I'll show you some of my workspace. How about that? Let's see. I don't want to make you dizzy here. Here we go. I'm sure there's an easier way for me to do this. I don't know what that is though. So, this isn't making sense. Okay, I would like to show you my writing space, but here, maybe I can go, what if I walk this way? Okay, so I was sitting at that table right there, and you see my dictionaries, one on top, the other stored, part of my library and stuff. My house is kind of messy, so like I can't go all around. Oh my goodness, it's such a creative mode in my world right now. And you can tell I'm working on projects because they're just stacks of stuff in miscellaneous places. Anyway, this is one of my, how do I get lower? I hope I'm not making you dizzy. But this is one of my writing spaces. I'll show you a few knickknacks that I've had kind of on the window. Is this working? Something about this feels really wonky. If you have vertigo or something, close your eyes. This is I'm so interested in her. It's one of my Mammy salt and pepper shakers. And the paint is pretty old. The paint has rubbed off for the most part. You see a few little black and red specks. And I'm really interested in the idea of being colored and what that means. And like what can rub off, what can go away, and what is indelibly kind of there. So I keep her as a reminder of what's on the outside and what remains. Yeah. And oh, this is my my little flying pig. I love my little flying pig. It has a solar panel and it sits right in the window. And so miscellaneous times in the day, you'll just see the wings move and the head bob. And it reminds me that pigs are always flying around me, so I'm not waiting for anything crazy to do my crazy things. Oh, this is one of my heads. She's so gorgeous. She's so gorgeous to me. I just want to like kiss her. But it's sand and stuff. But I don't know, it's not, probably need to be further away. She's really, yeah. I like her. And I usually keep a magnifying glass. What's that do to my eye? I wonder if this looks wonky on the film. I can't see. I don't know. If I do this, does it affect, wait, let me see. What's that do? I don't know. Anyway, I keep this really dirty. But I keep a magnifying glass. Part of it is to read small text, but also just to change my perspective. Like at any given time, if I'm just looking at one thing too long and I'm starting to lose track of my thoughts, I'll just look at it through something else. Like even if it's just through a magnifying glass, it's not about seeing it more up close, but it's just reminding myself, okay, I can choose a perspective. I can choose something that will shape the way I see this. And just picking this up reminds me of how I can do that mentally. So yeah, there's that. Okay, I came back from the first little video blog to tell you all something specific I was thinking about choice, and I don't know if I did that, but oh well. All right, once again, I've been blabbing and I don't know where I was going with it, but this is where we are. I'm going to see you all soon, okay? And I know we signed out earlier, but there we go. But you see the 19 and you'll see the 20 tomorrow. I mean, we're 6 days away That's kind of blowing my mind. It's exciting to me. Not that I'm just ready to be done, because I'm definitely going to continue some of the practices in my regular writing, but it feels good to see that I can't say I've done it because I'm not finished, but I've worked really hard towards something I didn't really know that I could do. And I still don't know that I'll finish or how or what it will look like, what it will result in. We've started filming a documentary film, which is really weird and awkward and uncomfortable. And I've been gathering lots of items, kind of artifacts related to the writing process. Like I keep my little stickers and my tickets every day and my notes and all sorts of things that I've just been holding on to in relation to these 30 days of writing. And so I think that could be something at some point. I don't know what. But it is cool to have had an idea like 3 months ago, basically, and be here doing it. And it builds confidence. I can definitely say that. It builds some other things too. I have learned that when I jump, I think I jumped nose first, eyeball first, something crazy. But when I jump kind of just headlong into these projects, I need to have some systems in place to pick up the slack that I am going to leave behind. Like, I don't think I've vacuumed my floors since I started 30 by 30 by 30. Like, that's crazy and bothersome and really troubling to me as a person who was raised in a certain type of house. Like, it's just not okay for me not to have vacuumed a couple of times a week. And now I'm critiquing and frustrated with myself that I gave this domestic example. But anyway, that's the first thing that came to mind. Like, wow, I haven't had a vacuum in my hand in a while. And it's okay that it wasn't me, but I should have paid somebody. Like, I should have set this up when I started the project. Go ahead and get some housekeeping service for a month. And it's not a time for me just to not let it happen. I don't necessarily have to or need to do it because I'm doing some other things, but hire someone to vacuum and mop and do some laundry and wash the dishes and cook. Like, if that's what I need to make things happen in other areas of my life, do it. And I would feel no guilt about it. I feel guilt about not taking care of it. I don't feel guilt about me not being the one doing it, which might have been the case a couple of years ago. I might have had some weird idea that, oh, if I can be a poet and I can be a mother and I can be a professor and I can do public art projects and I can be a mother and a wife and I can do anything if I want to do it, whatever. I'm not trying to. Wow, I've gone all over the place. All right, I'm going to stop this conversation now because I was about to get into a rant. But maybe I'll pick it up later because actually this really is an important conversation about artists and I guess art entrepreneurs and people who are like walking a kind of razor line of risk in their work that isn't always predictable and secure and stable. Like, what are the practical things that we do to help make this happen and not be neglectful in other areas? Because there's just the raw time and energy that it takes to do things, but then there's the emotional and psychological and like practical stuff that is involved too. And I should talk about that and just like throw it out there. You heard it here. My floors haven't been vacuumed in 20 something days. And I can't strap a vacuum to Jake's back. And that's where I am. But I've been writing poems, and that, for me, writing a poem a day, oh my goodness. It's the most gorgeous, delicious thing that I've done in quite a long time. And I needed it. I needed it a lot. All right, y'all. Have a good night or day. It's night for me, but who knows when you're watching it. Okay, bye.